Actually, my cat is named after Nishinoya.
Yeah, it's got the orange stuff.
Yeah, so she's like a gray tabby, brown tabby, but she has like a little tuft of orange, like right. And she has no other orange, just like normal cat, and then just like tuft. And I'm just like, that looks like Nishinoya from Haikyuu. So her name's Nishi.
Oh.
You have a picture? Oh, you have a picture?
I'll find one.
That's it's tiny. Enhance.
Well, welcome to the Haikyuu panel with me. You want to introduce yourself?
Sure. Hi, I'm Bryson Baugus. I'm one of the voice acting guests here, and you might know me from a little show called Haikyu. I play Shoyo Hinata. I'm in a few others. Blue Lock, I play Nagi, Japan, Honkai Star Rail, a bunch of other stuff. But yeah, hi.
Hi, I'm Howard. I voice a couple characters in Haikyuu. Actually, I voice Goshiki and Suna. And some other things, like I'm also in Honkai Star Rail. And a bunch of other things, other sports anime and stuff.
Mm-hmm. He was my director for Prince of Tennis.
Tennis.
Yeah, this is the Haikyuu panel. If you guys have any questions, it's just like a generic Q&A as far as I can understand it.
Yeah.
So if you have any questions, feel free to raise your hand. I don't see that they have a microphone set up or anything, so just
room is small enough you can just project.
Speak up a bit. And it doesn't have to be Haikyuu related. If you know us from other stuff too, feel free to ask any questions.
This could be the Honkai panel.
That's tomorrow.
That's tomorrow, actually.
Yes, both of us too.
Yeah, it's us two again.
Yes, Luffy.
Since you're both in Haikyuu and Honkai Star Rail, do you think the characters that you respectively play would get along with each other? Like, do you think Naruto would get along with Chikara, Luca, and Suna, or Goshiki?
That's interesting.
That is
very different.
I feel like Hinata would try to get along with Luca more so than Japar.
Yeah.
Japar seems like Japar seems like kind of a too stiff and stoic. He'd be more of like a Kageyama type, I think.
Yeah. I think Goshiki might get along with Luca, but I think Suna probably wouldn't. I think Suna would probably chill with the part.
Yes, Chrono Trigger.
I know that the dub is comedy gold. Like, how unhinged were you allowed to be when you were recording lines?
Well, we weren't really ad-libbing a whole ton for the show. It was all written that way, and especially those early two seasons were written by Caitlin Barr, who is an amazing adaptive scriptwriter, and I guess she did season 3 as well.
I believe so.
It was season 4 that they changed writers.
I think so.
Yeah, and she does a really good job of finding ways to keep the intent of the original while also throwing in fun things that makes it feel more natural. Like, they're all high school boys. They're gonna act like high school boys and say dumb stuff all the time. And I feel like people comment on how the dub feels like a comedy compared to the sub or something. But I feel like when I watch the sub feels like a comedy too. Like, obviously there's hype moments with the action and stuff like that, and we try to keep those in as well. But I feel like the show is just a comedy drama. So I had a lot of fun working on it because it just, the energy was there.
Yeah. Same.
Yeah.
My characters weren't as funny, but
I don't know. I think it's different with Suna.
Yeah.
Suna's pretty good. Yeah. It's a different kind of funny. He's just very.
What is y'all's favorite lines?
Favorite lines? I've got a couple of them. Are ones that are a little bit more in the background. There was like you said, there's a bunch of clips of the show circling around Twitter and YouTube for a while, and there was ones that I don't even remember recording. There's one where Nishinoya is gonna tackle Kyoko, tackle hug, and he misses, and you just see Hinata in the background. And he's like a horny tornado.
Well, for me, I've been a Haikyuu fan for a really long time, long before I was even voicing the show.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah, no, I watched it when it early when it came out and stuff. I was before long before it was even dubbed.
Mm-hmm.
And so getting just to say Chance Ball was just super cool. Yeah, Chance Ball, the classic. Yeah, that's always my favorite.
I like thank you for the game.
Yeah. In unison with 20 other dudes.
Yeah. Kiki, yes.
And do you have a favorite match or matches that you remember from either the season, favorite match?
The ones I was in.
My favorite match is the one that he was in. Shira Torizawa, season 3 was such an amazing match. The fact that like they were able, and like they did an entire 10 episode season, just one match, but it didn't, to me, it never felt like it took too long or like dragged or anything. It felt like intense the entire time. Like the hype level was there, and so many great moments happened in that season. Like my favorite moment with that part where it's just like Ushiwaka holding down Hinata and Kageyama, and then like the team is just like getting them off like that. It's such a roller coaster, that match.
Yeah, there's also Tsukushima's big moment.
Yes.
You know, it's like, it's just one knock, but the fist bump and the scream, it's like, it's so
That
good.
season was so good.
Yeah, and just, it feels like they took the budget of like a 12 episode season, and they're just like, 10 episodes, and they made a really, really good 10 episodes.
Yeah. And the same with the movie. It had a lot of really amazing moments. If y'all haven't seen the movie yet, hopefully, hopefully it comes to streaming soon enough, because like I saw it in theaters and it's like some of the best animation I've ever seen.
There's that 1 second they just went insane with
Yeah.
like, the
I'm not gonna spoil it for the people who haven't seen it, but it definitely look forward to it. Some amazing moments there too. Yes.
I didn't have something from the movie I wanted to ask about.
Yeah, I mean I can talk about it, just not
I just
spoilers.
saw like the SFX usage in it. Like I think that made it. What was your perspective when you watched it?
The sound effects?
Yeah, like that whole Kenno scene. And I'm trying not to spoil it.
Oh no, yeah, I loved it. I felt like I could follow the emotion really well, and it felt like I was in that moment, and I felt like my heart was racing the whole time. I was like,
Yeah. I'm a media arts major at my college, so like I really look into that stuff when I'm doing.
I think that's my favorite scene, honestly.
I think,
Again, not to spoil.
I
I'm
think
trying to spoil it.
the movie overall, I think, did a great job with using the sound design to really guide the emotional dynamics of the whole movie. So like you knew exactly when to be hyped because the music was pumping, the sound effects were real loud, but then like there would be points where it would get really tense all of a sudden because everything all of a sudden just like cuts out. And then you're like, oh, I know exactly how to feel right now. And then like hype stuff could be happening, but there's no music. What's happening? Is something bad's gonna happen?
Yeah. What I do like about like just the general sound design of the movie too is that apparently in Japan they like recorded like a stadium of like thousands of fans for like a lot of the background.
That's the
like,
biggest wall group I've ever heard.
Yeah. And it was just like an ambience, and it feels like if you're in a theater and if you have a surround sound at home, or even if you like watch with headphones or something, like it has just that like ongoing like basic ambience that like feels like you're in a gymnasium just watching a game. It sounds really cool, and it's very immersive for sure. I really wish I could have seen it in like the IMAX.
Yeah.
I definitely respect the sound.
What's that?
I definitely respect like the sound design as a movie because I want to go into that.
For sure. No, yeah, that's a great field to get into too. We could always use more engineers.
Yeah.
Yes.
Would you guys play volleyball? And if you did, what position would you play?
I've never been the most athletic person myself. I always left that to my brothers while I was in the stands playing Game Boy. That said, I think I probably would like, if I was an athletic person, I probably would want to be somebody more defensive, like the libero, or maybe even the setter or something like that. I don't
Japan
I don't know. Because I don't know. I don't see myself wanting to jump around as much as like a wing spiker or like a middle blocker or something like that. But I feel like if I can like stay grounded and like make sure I'm like keeping an eye on the ball and can like return it and stuff, I think I'd have fun with that.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a tennis player. Like I played tennis throughout high school, middle school. Yeah, there you go. Prince of Tennis, baby. So I've played volleyball just for fun on a couple occasions, but like I remember the first time I tried playing, my tennis brain kicked in.
They're relatively similar.
I saw a net and a ball, and like I forgot I had teammates. So I was like literally just darting around the court, just trying to do everything, and they're like, "Dude, you need to stay there." And I was like, "Oh crap." Okay. But in terms of like position, like I don't really know. Like I'm not like the tallest person in the world, but I can also, from what I've gathered through my life. I can jump pretty high. So maybe.
So he's Hinata. Tennis has always been like the sport that like if it was either tennis or basketball. If I was going to do a sport, it would probably be one of those two. Just because my brothers play tennis a lot and baseball. But baseball, I didn't want the ball to hit me in the face.
Yeah. I mean, tennis can do that too.
But yeah, but the tennis ball is a lot softer. No.
Not when it's if you're no, it's bad. No,
Okay.
I've been at the net and they just full on pelted and hit me in the neck.
Oh.
Not good.
Okay, then never mind. I don't want to play tennis.
It's like saying, oh, water, it's soft. It's like not when you're going
That's
super
true.
fast and you hit it straight on.
The tennis ball probably does travel a lot faster from getting smacked than just thrown by a human being.
Yeah, it's like 100 miles an hour.
Oh, yikes.
Yeah.
Well, it's still tennis always seemed fun.
Just play pickleball.
Play pickleball. Okay,
Yeah.
like a slower tennis.
It's tennis for old people.
Okay.
It's the way they describe it is that if you're like around our age or playing it, you're too poor for golf and too unathletic for tennis.
Okay.
Yeah.
What about badminton? Where does that fit in?
Badminton.
Badminton can get kind of intense.
Yeah,
Like,
there's
like whipping it a lot.
there's a YouTuber I watch that plays badminton, and that's like his exercise, and he's pretty fit.
There's another sports anime called Salaryman's Club. It's a badminton sports anime, and it's about a bunch of like adult dudes working at their company, and they have the company badminton team, and I voice the main character in that. So you should check it out, Salaryman's Club.
I remember when that was coming out, and like the art style looked really cool.
Yeah, the animation was actually really good.
Mm-hmm. I need to check it out.
I remember because I directed Prince of Tennis. One thing is like people remember I direct like their tennis efforts, and I'm very specific because I know what tennis efforts are supposed to be like and what like the stylized anime tennis efforts are supposed to be like. So I'm like trying to get them to be like spot on.
I didn't play tennis in
Yeah,
the
you
show,
didn't play tennis.
so I didn't have to prove myself.
Yeah. But I remember I was like, because like I spent so much time directing Prince of Tennis on people on their efforts, and then like I got to do the badminton show, and then I was like pretty much the same sort of essence. I was like, if I can't do these myself, I'm a fraud. I was like, wait, I can never direct these people on tennis ever again, and I did it, and I was like, okay, I'm good.
Awesome. Anybody? Yes, Anya.
Who were your favorite characters to voice? Out of all the characters you've voiced?
Oh, nice. I kind of have a soft spot for Hinata for one, just because he's super fun to just play. He's got that hyper energy. He's funny. He's hilarious, and he's got those moments where he can get really serious too. But I always go to my very first lead role, Bell from Izarong to try to pick up girls in the dungeon. He was my first lead role, and his character arc. It starts off. It felt like he was me. Like he was a professional adventurer, but he's still starting off. I was trying to pick up girls in the dungeon. But he starts off. He kind of knows what he's doing, but he's trying to improve and get better. And I felt like that's where I was in my journey. When I was cast as him. And then every new season comes back. I feel like when I return to playing him, it feels like he's just kind of in the same place I am. So it's like we got season 5 coming up, and I'm looking forward to being able to play him again and just seeing where he is in his journey, because it feels like he's really grown up with me over the past 7 years of doing that show. So those are 2 of my favorites. But I love something about everybody that I play for sure. Yeah.
Same. I also liked playing Bell from MC.
Yeah.
This might just be a recency bias thing, but who here knows Grand Blue Fantasy? Yeah.
I've heard the name.
Yeah, so I voiced a character named Sandalphon in Grand Blue Fantasy, and I voiced him for a couple different projects now, and he just has this really, really deep emotional lore, and also this really insane character arc where he starts off as a villain, then he gets really sad, and now he's just chilling making coffee. So going through that entire arc, and I highly recommend if you want to check out Grand Blue Fantasy, Relink or Versus, or the mobile game. The mobile game's not in English, but yeah, I would check that out. That's definitely one of my favorites right now. And then on the opposite end of the spectrum, Luca from Honkai Star Rail. Just because I don't get to play dumb boys a lot. So getting to do.
Is he buff enough to be a himbo, or is he not quite there?
No, he's a little more on the twunky side.
Oh, okay, okay.
He's not, I don't know.
I don't know the terminology. I'm still learning.
I don't know. I have to ask Alejandro.
I don't have the lexicon.
Himbo ambassador.
Oh, okay, okay.
But yeah, no, Luca, especially like him being as silly and kind of not smart as he is, and also just the medium of it being a video game, you have a lot more flexibility with your timing and how you can deliver some stuff. So like I've gotten to play with words a lot more with Luca than I have with I think anybody else.
Yes.
Besides the character that you voiced, who's your favorite Haikyuu character?
Kenma.
Yeah.
I'm a gamer boy. I hate sweating. I love Kenma. He's my favorite in that show. And then I think Tanaka is like a close second because he's the complete opposite. He's really good at what he does, but he doesn't get too cocky about it. Like he'll joke and be like, "Yeah, I'm awesome," but like you can tell that, "Oh shoot, nice, yeah." He's the kind of character that like. You can tell that like he's got like a certain level of like joke cockiness to him, but he doesn't feel big-headed and like conceited about it, if that makes sense. Like somebody who knows they're good but is like a team player. Yeah.
Opposite of that, Kageyama.
Oh yeah.
He gets there.
Volleyball.
Yeah. That and Nishinoya.
Nishinoya is really cool too.
I actually, my cat is named after Nishinoya.
Yeah, it's good for orange stuff.
Yeah, so she's like a gray tabby, brown tabby, but she has like a little tuft of orange, like right. And she has no other orange, just like normal cat, and then just like tuft. And I'm just like, that looks like Nishinoya from Haikyuu. So her name's Nishi.
Oh.
You have a picture? Now you have a picture?
I'll find one.
No, it's tiny. Enhance.
We can do the next question while
Yes.
I'm looking.
Anybody else? Green Palu Tenor? I'm trying to figure out the cosplays.
Ragdoll and Matrix.
Oh, okay. I haven't seen it.
Yeah.
Was there ever a moment where you truly related to the character you voiced?
For sure. So like I said, with Hinata, he does have like those very serious moments. Like in season 2, he's got a moment where he's getting frustrated that he can't, or he feels like he can't really stand on his own on the court. He feels like he has to rely too much on Kageyama to be of value to the team. And so he, during that training camp where he just starts trying to like do things his way, and to the detriment of his team, they end up like losing because he's too focused on his own thing. But that kind of drive to be like, no, I want to do my best so that I can contribute outside of just being like a tool for somebody else. Like I understand that drive and stuff, and wanting to improve yourself. It's something that I really have always wanted to be able to improve myself as well in that same way. And I can really relate to the idea of that kind of drive leading you to not recognize that like, oh, well, by doing this, you're kind of like doing other things that may have like detriments that you're not seeing in the moment. So like, I really relate to that moment as well. And then I love the reality check that Kageyama gives him after he's just like, stop, like we need to focus on just doing better as a team and all that stuff. But that's definitely one of my favorite moments for sure. Still looking for Nishi?
Yeah. What was the question?
Are there any moments where you really relate to your character?
For Goshiki in particular, because he sort of has these expectations like thrust upon him as like him being the future ace, and him being told that he has all this talent and potential, and like he has that pressure to sort of live up to it. That's definitely something that was relatable about just people having expectations for me. So,
Yeah, and then I guess not volleyball related, but I also relate to Hinata's just like he identified something that he liked really early on and just said, I'm gonna go for that. I started trying to become an actor when I was 14. As soon as I found out like voice acting was a thing, I was like, I'm gonna be a voice actor, I'm gonna be a theater actor, I'm gonna do what I can. And I've been doing this for more than half my life at this point. So like I definitely relate to that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
The words.
You have an HDMI to USB-C
Yeah, here's the
adapter.
USB-C USB. Yeah. No, you got the little puff.
Come by his table later for a closer
Yeah.
look.
For my signed Nishi print.
Yes.
Yeah. How old is your cat?
No. How old is Nishi?
Yeah.
7.
Okay, so an adult. I'm so used to dog years. Is 7 relatively still pretty young for a cat?
I mean, I just count human years.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, she's 7.
Okay.
I don't know what cat years are.
Well, I mean, like, just like life expectancy, I guess. I don't know.
7's not too old.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's like.
It's for dogs, once you start hitting 7, that's like middle age.
Yeah, 7's like 30s, 40s.
Okay.
Cat, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, white hair with the skull thing.
Is there two schools that you want to see like have like a I guess
Have a match?
You have another match, like a series match, or just like a.
I kind of want to see how. Let me see. I kind of want to see how, like Alba Josai would do up against Shiratorizawa, like later on. Well, I guess they already did. They kind of failed. Maybe Alba Josai versus like Nekama. I think would be an interesting thing to see.
Shiratorizawa versus Inorizaki.
Oh yeah,
Just a little biased, but
yeah.
I'd like to block myself.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, get that guy. Me? Yes.
What, me?
I think, let me just make sure nobody else had any other questions before we go repeats. Yes.
How do you go about recreating the interpersonal relationships between characters?
Recreating the interpersonal relationships? Like,
Yeah, like making it, portraying it as an audio as it is like anime.
I mean, we at least for myself, I try to just match whatever energy is given in the animation, the original performance. I tend to like give myself a point of reference to hear like, okay, what is this scene in the first place, and then try and keep that dynamic there. And usually it helps if the other actor has recorded before me and I can kind of play off of what performance they give. But as long as even if I'm setting the scene myself and the first one in, I always try to just rely on reading the surrounding lines in the script and seeing like what might flow in the conversation, almost kind of like imagining in my head like how the other actor might say the line and responding accordingly. And if we end up needing to like do another take because I'm like, that didn't sound right or something, we can just go ahead and take it again. But it's really just a matter of just looking at the animation and reading the script and I don't know, that's kind of the skill of acting, is just like taking that information and inferring from that what you will and saying the words in a way that is believable. I don't know.
Say the words with intent. What's the intent? Oh,
what's the intent?
Sound convincing?
Because it's very specific to each moment to moment, so it's not like, that's this. This scene is a generic insert thing right here. So at least for me, I try to keep when I'm making my acting decisions specific to what I'm looking at in that immediate moment. So it's hard to like really explain like the nitty gritty mechanical machinations of my brain, like I'm approaching it this way.
Yeah. Some actors are just like, am I mad or sad? All right, cool. But for me, it's like since I was already a fan of the show, I already knew sort of who the characters were and what their relationships were with other characters. So I kind of off the bat just kind of knew kind of how I felt, how my character was supposed to feel towards other people and in certain situations.
Yeah.
So that definitely helps.
And you mentioning that made me think that I went completely off the rails with mine, but I think also like it is good to keep in mind like what your character's relationship to the other characters are and how that affects how you read the lines. Like, what is it? We were recording the movie and there was a line that's a little bit gremlin-y, kind of bratty at Kageyama, and the engineer was like, I didn't know Hinata had that gremlin in him, and I'm like, he usually only reserves it for Kageyama or Tsukishima. That dog. He got that gremlin in him. I think I saw a hand over here as well in the back. Yes.
Seeing that you've been voice acting since you were 14, I don't know when you started, but did you have kind of a moment, whether it was in the booth or any other moment in your like professional life where you're like, this is it, like this locked in that I'm gonna be doing this for a while, kind of a Suki moment?
I'm still waiting for that moment.
Yeah, it's one of those things that you just kind of
It's just sort of
you go with the flow and
yeah. I don't know how many people actually go out and set out to like have a specific planned quest to do this voiceover thing. It just sort of it happens when it happens. You know, there's an amount of effort that you can't put in to be prepared.
Yeah, and for me, I say that like it was something I was pursuing alongside like theater and on camera, and for me, I just feel very lucky that like the voiceover side of things was able to work out as well as it has, and keep me busy enough that I don't really have time to do rehearsals for stage plays that often or anything like that, and so I feel very lucky to have gotten the opportunities that I have, but if I hadn't gotten those opportunities, I'd probably still be out there doing like stage plays, theater, musicals, and all that stuff too. Yeah.
I have a very different path. I actively chose not to do acting. I went to school for video game design.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Because, you know, I wanted something more, I guess, secure. I guess video games was the choice. But yeah, but life just had other plans for me. So, not that I didn't enjoy, like, you know, doing voiceover, you know, I was also working on that too. But that just happened to work out. I was trying both ends, I guess, and then voiceover was more fortunate at the time. But I've also been doing game dev stuff as well at the same time. So I worked at Riot Games for a couple of years. Helped make a game called Valorant.
Yeah.
Had a salty evening. That's, you know, might be because of Valorant. And I'm still doing some dev stuff on another game right now called Supervive.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. And yeah, that's my life. Is just you do more than one thing.
Exactly.
I guess. Yeah, I have what I call job FOMO.
I think if I wasn't into acting as much, I probably would have gone down the line of like computer science and eventually game dev because I love games so much. But I don't know. I definitely don't have the skill set for it now.
Video game voice acting is the perfect middle ground. I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let me see, just make sure we don't get too many repeats. I think Sophia in the back, and then we can do you, and then you guys. So, yes.
Could there be 3 or 4 people on your dream team?
For Haikyuu?
I was telling this during like some interviews for the movie, but I think I kind of like the idea of like swapping a few characters between Nekoma and Karasuno. So like having Hinata and Kenma versus like Kuro with Kageyama, and then maybe for like a third person. Noya is such a perfect libero.
Yeah.
I kind of just want to swap out Kageyama and Kenma and just see how that dynamic would work with those two together, specifically against like Kageyama's setting for like Kuro or something like that.
Yeah. If we wanted to build like a dream team, Ushiwaka for the ace, like spiker position for sure. Libero, yeah, Nishinoya, because I think he's the best.
He's the best one in the show.
Yeah, and then setter, it depends on what point. It's either Kageyama or Oikawa, either one.
Okay.
Probably later Kageyama.
Later Kageyama.
Yeah, Kageyama plus Kuro would be crazy. Wow.
Oh, yeah.
Who would have thought that would happen ever?
Wow, yeah.
And then blockers, like it'd be really good to have like a really like logical blocker and like a wild blocker. So like Suna plus Tendo.
Oh yeah.
Would be a crazy combination because then you don't really know how to play against them because you can either do the logical thing and then you show up with Suna there, or you can do something weird and then Tendo's there.
And Tendo's just salamandering on over there.
Yeah.
That's 5. You need one more.
Do I need one more?
I only said 3, so don't.
Yeah.
So you're fine.
What position's missing?
There's middle blocker, and then I would imagine the other 2 are just like more blocks. But I don't know the positions.
Pinch server.
Pinch server.
Pinch server.
Had Tadashi gotten there yet by the end of it, or are there better? I guess maybe Oikawa's a pretty good server.
Oikawa, yeah. Yeah, Oikawa, he's got that special animation for his serve. Nobody else has that special animation for their serve.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. With the ripple and the...
He's
gonna break his arm every time.
Yeah.
I went to they right before the movie came out. They had like the women's international like professional championship volleyball at UTA in Arlington, and we went there because they had like a Haikyuu bus to get pictures with to promote the movie and stuff. And they did the Olay, and I was like,
It's like in the anime.
it was Korea versus Bulgaria. I think that's just a thing in professional volleyball,
Yeah.
I guess, or something. So that's cool. Yes, you were next.
Okay, so when you look at the character, how do you come up with their voice? Like, do you just match the personality, or how does that work for you?
So a lot of the times, half the work has already been done by just the fact that the director thought of us to cast in the first place. Because especially in anime, we tend to get cast as characters we generally just sound like normally. So for somebody like Hinata, he's just me, but like I make him sound younger because he's small and young. So usually it's as simple as like just seeing the energy of the character, how they carry themselves around others, and just trying to match that as closely as possible while also just trying to get the pitch within the ballpark of what feels appropriate for the visible age. And so usually once they start getting a little bit like square jaw, then I start just being like, okay, they need to be more in like my medium range. If they're shorter, I might just make them sound a little bit younger by default. But most of my voices are basically just my voice, but maybe a little bit higher, or just my voice, or my voice but a little bit lower, or something like that, just depending on their apparent drawn age.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Japanese reference is definitely helpful. It's a good basis to go off of, and usually I just do my version of that. We sound exactly the same.
Yeah.
But yeah, again, it's usually just a different version of me. Otherwise, like either the higher or lower.
And that's one thing I do like about video games as well, is that since we're establishing the voice too, we can have more freedom to be like, no, this is the character. This is what he sounds like, and we can go from there as well. Whereas with anime, I try not to worry myself too much about like comparisons to the original and stuff like that. But there is like a baseline level, at least that I impose on myself, of trying to still at least match the energy of the character, because usually the fan base has already like fallen in love with that performance. So I want to give something that like is something somewhat similar to it, at least in that regard. But yeah. And then we said you guys next. Yeah.
If you had like a day or a date with your characters, do you think you would get along, or would it like end?
No.
No. I feel like I'm babysitting. He would want to check out all the stores or something like that. We'd probably just like have a day in the city walking around stores and stuff like that. He would want to buy everything. I don't know how he would be.
I think
Or he would just want to play He would just want to play volleyball, and I'd be too tired, and I wouldn't want to.
like set to him.
Yeah. Just throw the ball at me. I'll keep hitting the ball.
I think Goshiki would be fine. He can be usually just pretty chill and normal about stuff. But soon I think he would just wouldn't talk.
Yeah.
And it'd be like really awkward.
Yeah.
He's probably judging the whole time.
Talking to a brick wall.
Yeah.
Yes.
What is the funniest line that you have heard another voice actor say?
In Haikyuu or in just in general? I think. I really like a lot of the stuff that Tanaka says in the show. Or just like the way that Greg Cody, who plays him, just the line reads that he gives is just so out of pocket sometimes.
Not
Like,
what you'd expect.
where did you pull that from? And it's just amazing, and I love it. Just like the, hey, city boy! Got cojones! It's like half of Tanaka lines are always a joy.
I can't remember what else on top of my head. I don't know.
It's all good.
No. That one, the cojones one.
I also like when Coach Yukai's like, chop, chop, man, bud. Yes, Ash.
You mentioned you played tennis, and if you did so in high school, is there a moment like in the show that you personally really like related to as someone who played sports in high school?
Oh yeah, definitely. Haikyuu a little less so because it's like it's a team sport, and but definitely it's like the feeling of just like wanting to move up in the tournament, and like that general sort of idea. But that's why Princess Tennis was a lot more relatable, because it's just like obviously I'm not destroying dinosaurs during my tennis match, but it's relatable in the sense that it's like, you know, the same sort of challenges that you face mentally in a tennis match, and like injuries are a thing that happen a lot, and the tension, just the whole the dynamic of just like you know, we have to play like this number of doubles and singles matches, and like seeing how many we can win of all those, and yeah, so I definitely understood related to that sort of flow for the tennis at least. Sports.
Yes. Yes.
So you mentioned stage plays. There actually is a Haikyuu stage play.
Yes, I've seen.
They casted you and said you would like to try. Would you?
I don't think I'm athletic enough to be in that show. I mean, if they, is it a musical or is it just a straight play with?
Stage play.
Oh, okay, it's just a stage play. If it was a musical, like I would love to like do English versions of like the songs or something, but I don't think I have the physicality to play most of my anime characters on stage. And that's one of the things that I love about voiceover versus like on camera or on stage, is that like you can play as much as you can sound like it's believable, and like there's so much more factored in when it comes to like you acting with your full body and your face, because then you have to account for like how tall are you related to other actors, how do you look age-wise in relation to the other actors. Like there's so many more elements at play when it comes to casting those kinds of things. So I'd probably play like if I was in the stage play for Haikyuu, I'd probably be like one of the coaches or something. But I mean, like I'd love to be a part of it in some way if they'd have me, and if they ever adapt that kind of stuff to a Western audience, which there's not great precedent for that. But I mean, it'd be great. I remember seeing like clips of the curtain call, and the actress who plays Hinata is just jumping all over the stage, dancing. Like that's a lot of energy, and that's the curtain call. So like they've been doing that the entire show, and they're still like got the energy at curtain call. Like, I can't do it.
The Princess Tennis ones are musicals, though, right?
Yeah, I was going to say this.
Yeah, so the Princess, I would love to do English Princess Tennis.
Yeah,
that would be so cool. We dubbed a movie. There was like a CG Princess Tennis movie that was also a musical.
Oh, it was a musical?
Yes.
I didn't know that.
It was a musical movie. It was crazy. There was a rapping tennis gang in LA.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, it was great. Ryoma raps. It's crazy. I'm really upset. I'm really sad. Me too. But like, unfortunately, we didn't dub the songs for that. I'm really like upset that we didn't get to do that. But it also would have probably been really cringe. but that was the fun part.
Anybody else, just so we don't have too many from the same person? Kemma.
Hi. What are your thoughts and opinions on Coach Goshiki?
Coach, what was that again?
That's your turn.
Is that Shiro Torizawa's coach? Okay,
Yeah.
I was trying to remember, because names, there's so many in that show, so it's hard
I
to
feel
remember.
like he projects a lot.
He does, definitely.
Yeah.
I think he was disappointed by something early on in life, and he just like made it his mission to.
I just think he gives Hinata a hard time. He's like, you're nothing. You're not tall. What do you think you're doing? And then I'm just like, dude, Nishino is right there. Why are you not? He's just as short. Like, why are you not like?
Is Noya shorter than Hinata?
I think he's like, is he an inch like shorter? Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. But it's just like, but the coach guy was just like, I could never be a great volleyball player like Ushiwaka. I'm like, you didn't have to be. Like you could have been a libero. You could have been like Nishino. He's just as amazing, like in his own position. Or maybe just learn to jump higher, dude. I don't know. Like,
stay mad.
Yeah, he did.
Yes.
Speaking of Prince of Tennis, is there a very character that you like?
In Prince Tennis?
I read the manga when I was a kid, and I always really liked. I think when I was a kid, I didn't realize how silly Kaido was. And I thought Kaido was super cool when I was like reading the manga. But like seeing more of the show, because I didn't see the show as a
dumb.
kid. My exposure to the show has mostly been working on the redub, and I'm like, Kaido is very silly.
Yeah. He starts off scary, and then he's just very quick. That's like, oh, he's not scary.
Yeah.
Like, he's just weird. So I voiced Ryoga, but Ryoga was also my favorite. Just growing up and watching the show and watching the movie. But in the show itself, my favorite is, I think, Atabe. Just because he's really extra and rich and just so over the top and just, yeah, he can skydive into a tennis stadium, that's fine. That's fine.
What I love about Prince of Tennis, though, is that like it's got that 2000s anime spirit where it's like the super boomerang shot snake, like
it's
crazy stuff.
It's
superpower tennis.
I love just the very anime styled old school. Like, oh, there it is. Like, half of Bryson's lines were amazing. Amazing. There's this move. He returned it.
He returned it.
So good. Oh, yeah.
You think Hinata and Ryoma will get along?
I don't think so.
I think Ryoma would be annoyed by Hinata. Hinata would want to be Ryoma's best friend, but I think Ryoma would not want to be around him.
I think Ryoma's used to like humoring fools. Like he's hung out with like Horyo and and, like even like Momo to an extent. And like oh my god, like later on, like after like nationals, like Kitaro, like the jungle boy. He's got big Hinata energy
for sure.
So I think he'd do just fine. He'll give him a hard time, but he won't, shoot it away too much.
He wouldn't be like, I gotta hang out with Hinata though. But Hinata would be like, I gotta hang out with Ryoma. Yes.
Do you find that with voicing like sports anime and stuff that you are getting closer to the sports community, like watching sports?
I think it's made me more open to wanting to check out games here and there. I've never been a diehard like watching sports person, but every now and then people will invite me out to like see a baseball game or like just check out something, and I feel like I'm a lot more open to it now than I used to be like 10 years ago or so, because back then I was like, I'm just gonna be bored and I'm just gonna eat a hot dog and stuff. But now that I've kind of had like a perspective shift, and it's like, okay, I can just identify things to follow along and be able to enjoy my time there. Like when I went to go see that volleyball game, I feel like because of Haikyuu, I was able to actually like follow the action a lot more. And I just kind of like picked a team and be like, okay, I hope they win, because they're wearing black and that's Karasuno colors.
What if your favorite Hololive VTuber was at your baseball game?
You assume that I have a favorite Hololive VTuber.
Yeah. You guys see that? There's like the Hololive collab with like the Dodgers.
Oh, really?
Yeah, there's an actual collab.
Okay, I didn't know that.
It was like Galgura sang the taking out the ball game.
Oh, that's so cool.
Live on the stage. It was crazy.
Anime is there.
Dude, VTubers going nuts.
7-hour merch line.
Yeah, something like that. It was crazy. But I mean, for me, like I've always really been big on sports. Like growing up, my family's like a big Lakers fan, so like I grew up watching basketball. Kuroko's basketball. That's part of the reason why I love Kuroko's basketball as well. I'm also in that.
I haven't seen that.
It's really good. Kuroko's basketball is actually my favorite anime of all time.
I just remember people would mix up the two, because some people will come up to my table and be like, "Oh, you're the basketball one, right?"
Yeah, no. Well, there's a net, there's a ball, it's in the air.
It's in the air.
It's on the court. But yeah, no. Kuroko's basketball is my favorite, partially just because I also really enjoyed basketball growing up. So when Kuroko's basketball, like they did like a collab with the actual NBA, and they put characters like in jerseys of actual NBA teams. And my character, Himuro, he got a Knicks jersey, like a New York Knicks jersey.
I didn't know that either. Wow.
Yeah, it was super cool. So I was like, oh my gosh.
Seems like I'm not as in tune with the community as I thought. I'll check out a game.
Thank you for watching Anime Diet. Be sure to smash that like and subscribe button for more tasty treats.